Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are Retribution. This is Gloom Talk podcast. Today I'm joined by Inferno, Landon, and MaltKnights. And then you have me, Tominayatina82. So we're currently going to be talking a couple of controversial topics today. So we're going to have the Wayfinder that we're planning on picking, the weapon selections, is Heroic Kyros pay to win, team comps, and release expectations for tomorrow. So starting off, let's get Maltese and Inferno introduced. So guys, take it away.
Hey, I'm Inferno. I started doing content for Wayfinder, and I'm just here to, I guess, give my opinion.
Nice. Maltese, how about you?
Yeah, I'm a Twitch streamer and content creator. Just started with Wayfinder, and I'm part of Retribution and wanted to weigh in on some of the juicy topics we had today.
Lovely. Okay, so obviously you know me and Landon from the introduction stream, so we're just going to go straight into the first topic, which I guess anyone can start. It's going to be, which Wayfinder are you planning on picking?
I could start this one actually if you guys want. I think it's pretty clear from last podcast, and anyone who knows me, right? I am a Senja player, 100%. However, because I have to play someone else to unlock Senja, and I don't want to waste those Wayfinder tokens, right? I want to keep those for heroics. I'm going to be picking Silo first, and then building towards Senja, because I really enjoy how they're both utility Wayfinders, and they are the only utility Wayfinders out currently. Inferno, who do you think you're gonna be playing?
I'm gonna be picking Niss off the bat there for some DPS, and then probably working my way towards Silo. That way I can have some more AoE attacks for later on.
So you're going into damage. You know, what weapon do you think you'll be using? Because Niss starts with daggers, and Silo actually is rifle based.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be doing probably daggers to Niss, keeping it simple, and then probably using the gun as well on Silo, and then when I get Kyros or my heroic variant, I'm gonna be using maybe a gun with him. We'll see.
All right, that's interesting. You know, like, I've heard a lot about how Silo is actually pretty good melee because of how his passive actually works with melee damage as well. It's not just ranged. So I'm excited to see some interesting Silo builds, right, where you do not use the weapon, you know, the weapon you come with.
Yeah, maybe.
And you actually try to use daggers.
Yeah, maybe I'll be using daggers with him. I'll try to build out with that. See how that goes.
It'll be fun to see.
What about you, Maltese? Come on.
Yeah, so I think, I've kind of changed quite a bit because I haven't played the beta yet, and I'm very much a person who likes a hand-on approach before I, make my final decision. But I think I'll probably go into Silo, into Venomous. Silo just looks a lot of fun with his just range capabilities and kind of his taunt and everything. But you guys were talking about like melee Silo would be pretty interesting. So, but I'd also I wonder how Silo with Venomous's weapon would be.
That might be interesting.
It'd be interesting. Because also, you know, like you were just talking about Silo melee, Venomous daggers has been confirmed to be a really good build, you know?
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so honestly, there's just a lot of weapon variety that will come in, you know? And I think I was watching,
For sure.
you guys remember that video they did for OTK where they show two boss fights?
Yeah.
Isn't there Kyros running
yeah.
the two-hand swords in that?
Yeah, I think he was.
Like, he was running a big fire sword,
That
right?
was sweet.
That was completely
That's
I
cool.
did not expect that. I was like, he's either gonna run his sight or like a rifle, you know, not a big sword. That was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Tom,
I think with me, it's going to be one of two ways, okay? So in every game, I've tanked or DPS, and it's going to be the same in this one. It's going to be Heroic Kyros for the DPS, or it's going to be a Wingrave for just flat out tanking and healing. It really depends on like the team comps as well, because I kind of just play what the team really needs as well. But those are the two options I'm really looking forward to. I mean, just the scythe alone is a godsend. And there's still no necromancer in this game, which is a criminal crime, but yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
get there.
Yeah, a couple of years maybe.
The scythe passive is crazy. You get to steal attack power from enemies. That'll be really nice.
I thought that might be okay on Venomous, like
Yeah, for
we'll
her as
see.
well.
Like, I've
With
had a
her
couple of
ability power with the toxin as well.
yeah,
That'd be
You
good.
know,
just to get the stuff out there much quicker. And,
I just have to do the podcast announcement, right, of Wingrave with a rifle.
Oh,
That'll
boy.
be cool,
Oh,
honestly.
boy.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
I mean, I feel like that could work pretty well, Just get the team behind his huge shield, and then we just use his gun and everything. Use your silo
do
for
Just
that.
go
AoE.
Destiny 2, right?
Yeah, straight up Titan.
oh boy. Yeah, don't give him ideas. Come on. Jeez.
Well, there will always be someone running a build that you're just like, wait, how is that a thing?
As long as they stay well away from my team, that's all that matters. All right, let's go on to the weapon selections. I mean, we kind of gave a few spoilers there of what we're going to be doing, but if I had to say you could pick any weapon in the game straight off the get-go from launch, forget about spending tokens. Like, you got a free weapon selection, go for it. What's the one weapon you want?
I'll go first, right? I'll go back in the same order. There is a rifle that we have seen not a lot of information about, but we know it exists, right? There's like a lot of hidden information, and if you actually go on the unofficial Wayfinder wiki that the community made, you can see a lot of information. So the weapon I'll be going for, right, is the shotgun. That's the one I'd really like to have on almost every character. It just seems to be like perfect for melee characters, right? If you want to run a rifle. And shotguns, right? Always satisfying.
Okay, who wants to go next?
Yeah, I can go.
Inferno.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, honestly, for right off the bat, the daggers, like, no change. I think they'll be really nice for just straight hard DPS. They'll mix well with Niss, mix well with Venomous, Kyros maybe even as well. Get it nice and personal.
And they look so cool.
They are
if
cool.
you watch videos of people running with daggers, when they're like a little hunched over, they have them in both hands swinging a bit. It just looks like on the prop for something,
Yeah, the dual daggers are insane.
I think I've seen a lot of people on YouTube with them. Just like you got Wingrave with daggers, you got Kyros with daggers. Like
the animations in this game are amazing, and I did not expect every Wayfinder to fit every weapon, but they've somehow made it work.
Yeah, and I think
I'm excited to actually play it.
Yeah, I think in the what was it? The dev diary they showed Venomous with the daggers and her just bolting past enemies, dropping toxin, and then slashing and dashing. That was crazy. So that'll work really well too.
They went on to say, right, like how with daggers on Venomous, you're able to apply more poison, but you're a little less safe because you got to be close quarters. While on rifle, you apply a little less poison than a dagger build, but you're safer. So right there, just with your weapon choice, there's a difference in playstyle.
Yeah.
Beyond just the echoes, right, and everything else.
We'll be able to stack even higher dot damage, which I think is going to be really nice later on.
Oh yeah, when you get more and more Wayfinders coming in, like, damage over time is always like awesome.
Is always king, basically in every game, right?
Exactly. Yeah, basically.
You have like your Senja come in, taunt the enemies, apply status. You use Venomous with your toxin, apply more status, and then you just have your silo come in there, light them all on fire, shoot a shotgun, and he's doing crazy damage, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what Bing was on about, something like that, right?
I think Bing was close on that. Yeah, I think Bing had a similar comp idea. But we will cover those later down the podcast.
Okay, what about you, Maltese? What are you picking for weapons?
Yeah, I think honestly that scythe just looks awesome. I think like scythe with Venomous might be really fun just to try out. But Again, it just seems like a cool weapon. So
Well, Venomous does have that little slide in, right? Like, you know where she hovers a bit?
Oh
So you're
yeah.
just hovering into a
Yeah.
group of enemy and then just slashing around you. That could be fun.
right, yeah, like that
Yeah.
fading, not that fading, but like leaving that poison cloud and then like kind of kiting them while hitting
Plus
them with a
stealing that
scythe.
ability
Man.
power
Could be
from
fun.
enemies is gonna be pretty huge, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can
So
agree.
much, so many
Yeah,
possibilities.
there's a lot going on. Like there's a lot of weapons already.
Yeah.
It's just gonna get more crazy.
True that. I mean, with my choice, it's Scythe as well. Like, it's either that or the sword or shield. I do like a good sword and shield, but it really depends like how much shit you can really choose with it.
Honestly, that's a really good point. A lot of people don't talk about sword and shield, but like depending on the spells they put on those and how impactful the shield will actually be in gameplay, they might be really good weapons that people are not expecting to use, and then they'll be like, "Oh wow, okay."
Yeah, they may be part of like those
They'll
sleeper
be
builds,
switching to it.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
If I like, if you could get them to choose through mechanics, I could see them being possibly used in some speedrun scenarios, like just to power through stuff real quick.
Yeah.
Really depends. I mean, sword and shield on Senja maybe with the pull as well. Just
Yeah, that could be good,
Yeah, it could be
right?
huge
If you
as
have
well.
like
That
a
would be
shield
good.
bash or something, right? You pull and then you use your sword and shield ability, right? The shield bash. And right there you have just like an extra little combo.
Hmm.
it's something to look forward to for sure.
So
Lots of
much
good
stuff.
combos, lots of good wayfinders already.
Yeah,
And
and
Lionel.
Oh boy.
you know what I'd actually like to see as well is one day come back to this podcast, right? About a year or so from now, when a few more have come out, and just to see like what the difference is from where we are now to where we are in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Like
and like
Because you can have all the weapon
For
buffs
sure.
and tune in and that. Because there's no way the weapons are just going to be released and it's like, here you go, we're never balancing these or anything again. They're obviously going to bring out either variants or some small balancing in numbers and
yeah, that's for sure. And I look forward to looking at the video and be like, wow, Inferno, he's such a liar. Saying he's gonna play daggers, he's playing sword and shield.
yeah, I could change my mind tomorrow.
He's
You have
fixing
no
the
idea,
man.
right?
There you go.
Or like they could even
That's the
nerf
thing.
daggers tomorrow. Like we don't know.
We don't know anything,
Yeah.
right? It's just like pure. Well, we do know
We do know some
stuff,
stuff,
right?
yeah.
But they can control everything. It's early access.
Yeah, like the scythe and its ability, right? Stealing ability power, that might have to get nerfed like day one. We don't really know.
Yeah, it'll take a while to balance things, and as more things are added, it'll just kind of always be a
Imagine a
shifting game.
Niss with a sight, because Niss's passive is that she gains ability power when she dodges for a short duration.
Yeah, so stacking that with the passive of the scythe is gonna be pretty nice. Like
Yeah, that
lots of good
sounds
combos,
awesome.
like already.
And there's 17 weapons confirmed. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, I
there's
think that's what they
4 of
said.
each, but the rifle has 5 because of Venomous's signature weapon.
Oh yeah.
Then Lionel's coming in next season, and on his artwork he has a 2-handed axe. So most likely the next confirmed weapon, there might be more, probably will be, is a 2-handed axe, right? Or like a halberd or something similar to that.
Yeah, more melee is always good.
So exactly.
do you think in terms of
Sure.
weapons though, what do you think the meta might lean towards more melee up front or kind of range or sort of balance?
I think it'll really depend on player skill.
Yeah, like in the
Like a good FPS player will be able to make those rifles shine, but a person who prefers swords, man, he'll surprise you with that big sword.
yeah, I'm thinking that like
It might also depend.
all right, yeah.
You can
So
go
I
ahead,
don't know.
Inferno.
When I first saw the game, I was thinking like, oh, like melee is gonna be pretty huge in here. But then I saw Silo in his gun, and I'm like, wow, like they're gonna try and incorporate both sides here. So like you said, Landon, it'll probably be skill based halfway, but there's a lot of like up close encounters in the beginning of the game, right? So who knows? Melee might shine bright early on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It might be really depending on the boss fights and the like the specific enemies you fight. which one will kind of be better. Which I hope they do have that, so that different play styles shine in different
Yeah,
boss fights.
because like some of the best, okay, I love old school RuneScape. That's obvious. I've mentioned in podcast number 0. And what I love about that game is you have weapons that are best in slot at different bosses. So some weapons that might only be worth like a tenth of what another weapons is worth, it will be better for certain activities.
Yeah, like when
And I've always liked the concept of just different weapons for different areas, right? Like, so you have to build your library of weapons and choose accordingly. Unless you could, you can do everything with a rifle, sure. But if you want to be really efficient, there's the option there.
Yeah, right. Like when we saw in the OTK gameplay, right? We saw that the Kyros was
Oh, yeah.
using the melee there for that boss. Like maybe other bosses won't let you get that close, right? So the shotgun and stuff's gonna shine there.
That's true. And there was a phase, right, where like a lot of that boss's phase, actually, you're right, there it was obviously you couldn't stand on it, but you could stand right in front of it. It was mostly just dodging stuff.
Yeah, you could get really up close and personal,
And
use your melee and everything. But maybe there'll be one that you can't even
yeah.
get anywhere near. And then what are you gonna do with melee, right?
Yeah, like poison piles, right, around it or something, where it would make it difficult, where you take damage if you try to go hit it.
Exactly, right? So we don't really know yet. But I'm thinking that like melee is gonna be the big one early on, followed up by probably range later, depending on the case, right?
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah, it could be a case of like encounter based. So one dungeon you're doing melee, next will be ranged, and you gotta kind of switch the characters. I'm assuming the devs really want you to try and switch up, try different characters and different comps and stuff.
Yeah, it's looking a lot like
They
that.
seem to
when
be
needed.
pushing that.
Especially with the system where you can like level up in a certain like mastery of weapon class, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Masteries. I forgot about that, but there's so many different systems they're planning to add. So you feel like you're always progressing towards something, not just wasting your time.
Yeah, like for me, I'll be starting it with Niss, right? And then I'll have to do the dagger mastery. But then when I swap over to Silo, it's gonna be, I have to switch over to like rifle mastery.
Yeah, that's true. And then I think does your dagger mastery carry over between Wayfinders?
It should, I believe, yeah.
That I do not know. Yeah, see,
That'll be
if
cool.
it does, it makes it so like, if you play characters that use swords, like two-handed weapons, and you're used to using them, like you'll have an advantage going to the new one.
Yeah, like if you really spec into something else,
I'll
and
give
then
you
want
like
to swap later on, and then go back to it, you'll be good to go.
Yeah,
I might be able to give you a boost to like get that Wayfinder being will kill things quicker if you have like a mastery in that certain weapon.
Yeah, like for
Just use that
example, like
weapon
say
for
like
it.
I don't know, the final boss is something you can't get close to, but you've been specking into melee the whole time, right? But people come in, they spec into the rifles, and it's like they have a huge advantage over you, right?
Yep. That's true. I mean, it really depends, like how many bosses will there be? Like how will boss encounters even work exactly, right? We know about the dungeons and we know there will be hunts. But like how will all of that take up, how will it all work? And there's world bosses supposedly.
Yeah, like we know about the lost
That's a
zones as
whole
well.
other
So
yeah.
you do the lost zones, and then I'll assume there's like what, 2 big bosses per zone, maybe? I don't really know.
Yeah, and then they could just add other bosses there if they feel like it. It's a lot of possibilities, and it's just exciting.
Yeah, it seems like they want to lean into a lot of public events too. So you're just off doing whatever you're doing, and then you got your other 2 guys coming in. You can just do a public event together.
Reminds me of a game that Tom has played a good bit of, right, Tom? Guild Wars 2?
Oh, yeah.
With those open world events being like such a big part of the experience when you're not doing any hardcore stuff.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are okay. It really depends on the design, because there's some real stupid ones. Like there's not a lot of profit to be made in them, and they're kind of just everyone just skips them. But
they're great for leveling. For leveling, they're some of the best stuff to do, and they're super fun if you don't do the adventure guide.
Yeah,
But that reminds me in Destiny
I
as well.
mean, It has to be rewarding though. That's the thing, right? So the one thing we noticed from Guild Wars 2
Sure.
is they have meta trains and stuff in there, which people put in the LFG. They're not going to do all the metas. They're picking the most profitable ones and leaving out all the cruddy ones. And the cruddy ones really need to touch up on like what they give, any kind of RNG stuff like that. But
there's one thing though I'll say right now, right, and it'll make you completely change opinion. There is no trading in this game. Sure, it will be gold, so maybe some stuff will be a little more lucrative, but there isn't, so you can't just do a train to like make money, right?
Yeah, maybe they'll add it later on. Like Warframe has a nice trading system going on, and it's completely based on your mastery. So if you're mastery 2, you can only trade twice a day.
Yeah.
It's an interesting approach for sure.
I still think trading should be in this game in some sort of concept, at least to help like when it goes free to play launch.
Yeah, like being able to trade echoes, maybe
for-
even weapons would be nice as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if they're not like, they definitely need either a like pity system or training system, either one of those, because like if you can't trade, then it'll be really hard to get those like some of those items. But I'm obviously leaning more. I rather have a trading system, which I know comes with a whole slew of problems like botting and all that the team needs to be prepared to deal with. But I think that'll be the
I mean,
best
I'm
option.
just more thinking like for the casual players though, right? Because let's say I'm using my brother as an example. He doesn't really have a lot of time to play, right? So he'll play like 2 hours now and again. Right? It depending on the RNG in this game, he may not get like anything he wants for quite some time. Like it may take him a few nights, and for free to play players, that might be a little off-putting. Like they may not want to be around. With a trading system, it kind of mitigates that a little bit.
Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah, that's a good
I just hope they don't lean too much into the pity system. Like Warframe's been really getting into that, and it kind of feels like I'd rather just game the pity system instead of playing the actual content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, not that's the problem with the pity system. Like, you don't want it. You want it to reward the players who are putting in time and like the unlucky ones, but yet you still want to encourage players to actually play the game and not just kind of like cheese it and keep getting it.
Yeah, like if
just
I'm
based
grinding
off
for
of
4 hours at a time and I'm not getting like a single drop that I want, right? Then I'm going to go to the pity system. But if the pity system becomes the main way to play,
Exactly.
then what's the point in having the beginning grind, right? Just gain the pity system.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I know trading has been a controversial topic a bit, right? For some in the Wayfinder Discord, the main Wayfinder community Discord.
Yeah.
So actually, we are covering a controversial topic, probably the biggest one this game has had so far. Tom, would you want to introduce the subject? Because I know you really like this one.
Yeah. Is heroic Kyros pay to win?
You know what? I think the first person to go should be Maltese.
Oh, for sure. I'm looking forward to this one.
Okay.
No pressure. No pressure.
I'm sitting straight. This
No
is gonna
pressure.
hit.
So I'm going to represent everyone who is on the side that Kyros is pay to win. So feel free to leave raging comments in the section about why I failed on representing you all. But what really I would say he is pay to win. And I think, because I think you got to first define pay to win. Do you mean pay to win by buying power, like direct power with money? Or do you mean it in the general sense of simply spending real money to progress in a game? Because I would define pay to win as that. Just you're spending real money to progress in a game, period. And there's a lot of elements of pay to win by that definition in the game. But like, I put like there's a difference between like buying WoW tokens in World of Warcraft to get gold in the game versus like Diablo Immortal, where you can literally you have to like spend to level up practically, and people have spent thousands of dollars, which to me, I don't get it, but but like on the terms of like you are paying money to get access into an item, and an item you can't receive else without paying. And And I also know that he does have more echo slots and some increase in certain stats. So I think in some builds he will be better.
Yeah, like
too.
I kind of agree with you there. Like he does have the 5% stat increase, which is split between his ability power and his attack power, right? So that'll be pretty big. But they did say that like with their ascension system, I think it's called, that other classes should be able to match his power. But like I don't think you unlock that till at least level 30, right? So up until level 30, you're gonna have that 5% advantage.
Yeah, and I think it'll definitely plateau, but there might always be just like it could be like it also depends like on comps and what certain weapons work better. Because I know there's like I believe in the Discord, I heard Snarf say basically he has like 5% shadow damage or something more than, and so he's like different almost. So it's like almost a different style.
I can elaborate there if you want. Basically, how they've said it is that certain stats will have a little more. Basically, like he might have a bit more damage, but like one or two less points in health. But overall, his stat points would be like 6 to 8 points above normal Kyros, right? It's just they're altered a bit to give him more of a specialty. So you're right with that.
Right. So, okay, thanks. Yeah. So I think that he will, be better. I think the difference when he gets up there will kind of plateau with the ascension and all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is like, he will be better in some instances. And again, you are spending money to access a character that cannot be accessed otherwise. And potentially increase like, I don't know what they're calling it in this game, but like mastery rank in Warframe. We don't know if that's confirmed yet, but if it increases your level, that means you have an extra Wayfinder above everyone else to boost your.
So they have
rank.
specified here that you get one more, but generally it will not give you an advantage because it'll be fairly easy to fill up the archetype amount, even without heroic Kyros. It just counts towards it. Also, I did want to mention something, right? The Ascension system will not be there on early access launch. It will come a bit after. And I feel it's important to mention because people might grind their way to level 30 expecting to ascend right away, and they'll be faced with like a
right
soon, like not here yet. You got to wait a bit.
Yeah, so that definitely means that Kyros will kind of reign above his counterpart for early
a bit,
access.
yeah.
For sure.
But I am curious, Maltese, right? So your way of looking at it is you're paying for this Kyros, right? And because you get an advantage with him early, right? Early on, you'll be stronger. So technically, isn't just getting early access pay to win? Because you're getting an early access to the game and an early advantage over every other player?
Yeah, so this is a bit of my hot take as well. I would actually say that Wayfinder is a
god,
game,
we got a lot more out of this than I thought.
And again, it goes back to my definition. You're able to spend money, real money, to progress in a game. And so, I mean, you think about Warframe is the same way. You can spend money on resources, guns, Warframes. So I would classify that too as pay to win. But I see it as a scale, like I said, there's difference between being, yes, pay to win and being really pay to win. To where like you have to spend money to progress. And like the dev said, they call it free and fair. That means that you can unlock everything except for, founder packs in the game.
I did want to mention something, right? Like you say you can buy stuff on the shop, and that is true. But for Wayfinders and weapons, they have said that if once Ascension is there, you can only buy it the first time. Any future Ascension levels cannot be bought. So if there's 10 Ascension levels, you can only buy the first silo. The next silos will have to be grinded no matter what. So
and it comes all the way down to how it feels, because like Warframe doesn't feel like really grimy, like with a lot of monetization in other games, even though there's like thousands of things you can buy. And I think it's little things like that and what the devs have said that really convinced me that one, they care about this game, and like two, I don't think the monetization will ruin it. So yes, I do say it is pay to win, but I think it's very slightly play to win.
Okay, and I think I want to throw this to Tom now because Tom has a completely different
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Oh
hear
boy.
it.
No disrespect to you, Morty.
Oh, okay.
Oh gosh, here it
Alrighty,
comes.
guys.
I'm going hard on this as well.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead.
I think if you
Alright, let's
think
hear
this
it.
game's pay the win in any aspect, you gotta be completely fucking nuts. Like, okay, let's go back. Let's go to the 5% thing that a lot of people seem to be focused on, especially the people in the Wayfinder Discord. Hello to you people, yeah. So we have a similar thing in Guild Wars 2 named infusions, right? Those infusions will increase your stats by roughly about 5%-ish, give or take. And it means fuck all. It really does. I promise you it means fuck all. Like, if you're a skilled player, that 5% doesn't really matter. It's going to matter more on the lower scale, so if you're kind of like a newbie, sure, it makes you hit a little bit more closer to the big boys. But it's not going to close the gap, and it's really not going to win you anything. It's not going to be the difference between you killing the boss or not. It's either dead or it's not. Like 5%, 5%, right? That's my hot take on the 5%. As for the others, like, what are you winning? What is it in this game that you're winning? Like, there's nothing to win here. Like,
What are
there's
you
nothing.
winning?
You're not getting
So-
getting any paid
so-
currency from it, right, or anything like that.
Well, so I am curious. So, what would you define as pay to win?
Okay,
Tom?
pay to win is like exactly as the word is, pay to win. If I go into like Call of Duty, right, and I can buy all the guns fully modded out day one, right, and they're actually gonna give me an advantage, like a big advantage. I'm not on about like 5% here. I'm on about like, let's say none of the sniper rifles like one shot, right, on launch, but this one in the shop does. That's kind of pay to win to a degree. Like, you get a whole team of people running that's gonna win you the game. I don't even think
Right.
like running 3 Kyros is like that'd be like 15% over the others. I don't even think that's enough to really
Right.
justify it. Like, going off the Guild Wars 2 approach, it's been there, and I mean, yeah, it's not going to win you anything. Worse, you're just killing the boss a little faster. I mean, for speedruns, yeah, that sucks. But again, like, there's going to be heroics down the line that free to play might be able to get. So it's kind of
Yeah.
even out. This is just one exclusive character. It's kind of like Warframe with Excalibur Prime. Eventually, they brought out the Umber,
Yeah,
right?
so I mean, I would agree with you that the difference will be like negligible, and that like it may matter in like speed runs or for people who are extremely min-maxing to the utmost degree. But I'm just saying, technically, by technicality, as and people could say, defined it as paid, defined it
Yeah,
into
but it
pay
comes
to
down
win.
to the
But
question: what are you winning?
well, you are progressing in a game by paying money. You can still progress the game without paying money, but the fact is, like, you can spend money to progress in the game.
So just to add clarifications, right? So Maltese, for you, the most not pay to win game there would be like a fully single player game with no battle pass or DLC, right? Like, that's the most not free to play game, not pay to win game you could have, right?
Right, or even like, let's go like WoW Vanilla, where you did pay a box price and you paid a subscription, but when you're playing the game, there was no way to earn anything in the game by
Right.
spending real money other than
Ignoring
just
real world
subscription.
real world training, right? Because that's another issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's a different.
right from what I can see, you're going on a scale mount, and Tom is going on a yes or
The
no.
actual definition. I'm going by the actual definition. Pay, like, I feel like in this generation, right? Pay to win is just scattered across so many things. There's a lot of actual games which are like selling skins and that, and people are saying they're pay to win because they look really good and they win the fashion contest, blah 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 blah. It honestly, like, it's not winning anything like that. Like, even if it come with 5% stats, good luck. Because if you buy that and you're just an average player, you're never beating the top guys anyway. That 5% means squat.
So Tom, I went ahead and I Googled and found the exact definition on Wiktionary, and we can trust the internet. It says the ability and or practice of exchanging real world currency for in-game benefit. So, like, the way I'm saying it is by technicality, I believe that you are receiving a benefit by spending real world currency. Whether it plateaus at the end or is only for people who are less skilled at the game, it is receiving an in-game benefit. Now, I think I agree with you. It's not going to be that big of a deal. It isn't that extreme. But I do think off of technicality,
Inferno, how's the popcorn?
But I'll accept the technicality, but like, you gotta face it this way as well, right? Companies need money. Wayfinder Founder Access is their way of getting this game built out, right? So either way, they need money, right? So what else would you like them to do? Just do skins or something? Because I don't think a lot of people would also just buy it for skins. Like they want some beef there. Like, they want to be exclusive. That's what made Excalibur Prime really what it is now.
I didn't say that I disagree.
No, I know, but I just wanted to get your view on where else could they go with this?
Well, you could do, again, I think because fashion is so big in these types of games, they could have really gone off of just
yeah,
cosmetics.
But then it's pay to win to look good, right? Because the fashion people will then say it's pay to win.
Oh, for sure. And it'll make, no matter what you do when you monetize a game, especially a free-to-play game, you will have everyone criticizing it. I have a friend who is disinterested in the game simply because they have a battle pass. And I understand some people just don't like that kind of game. But I think it's really hard in this day and age with how mobile games have impacted how things are built and live game services and the cost of things now. So I think whatever they did, they're going to make some people upset. And so I'm not really upset. Again, I'm excited for this release, and the fact of even when I would say it's pay to win, it's not going to discourage me from playing the game.
What would be your opinion on the future of heroic releases though? Would you still say it's pay to win then? If, let's say, the game comes out, they've got 6 heroics in there, would it still be pay to win if only one of them's exclusive to the founders that are funding the game?
Well, I think in a again, just barely, yes. And again, you might be able to buy, I'm not sure how their shop will work, whether you'll be able to buy resources for those new ones. So I would say it would be more on that point of, are you spending money to be able to unlock something quicker? Like, for instance, the Battle Pass, the towers they're calling it, you can unlock Venomous right from the get-go.
With premium, right? The premium tower, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, the premium. So I would say that is pay to win right there.
I can agree. I can agree on that.
Again,
instantly unlocking the character, it being not earned or anything. I'll agree with that one.
Yeah, it could be they bring in a new character, right? And they're super OP, and then you just go, you buy the premium tower, and then you have them right away. While everyone else has to go and farm them for hours and hours and hours.
I mean, I can kind of agree with the concept, right? But when it comes to if we're just taking heroic Kyros based on stats, which most of that Warframe, not Warframe, Wayfinder community is going by, they are more focused on that 5% of stats more than anything else. There's just so many people complaining on that about 5%.
So, Tom, I think how I would explain it is, Maltese is working. Okay, this is going a little off topic, but I think it'll make sense. Maltese is working with a decimal system. Okay, so for him, on a scale of yes or no, is it pay to win? He's on a 0.3, right? So technically, on your system, it's just yes or no. There's no decimals. So him, it would round down to no on your scale. You know what I mean? Like he still sees it as a bit. He sees it more in depth, and he says it is, but not too bad. And you don't see it as bad at all because you're not looking at the decimal side of it, right? So it rounds down to no on your scale.
Like I just
Right,
don't
like-
see it. Like it's not gonna give anyone an edge, like people are saying on that Discord. Though, like a load of people are saying, "Oh, I can't," now I'm forced to play this character because he's going to be doing the most DPS. Well, that may not even be the case. Like Niss, for example, could be doing a hell of a load more damage, and then when the heroic version of Niss comes out, then I honestly think like heroic Kyros in a year or two's time is going to be irrelevant anyway.
I agree with that as well.
There's going to be so many more characters coming out. Like, I honestly don't think
I agree.
it's. I mean, even if you want to call it pay to win or it's not pay to win, right now, at the end of the day, in 2 years, it's irrelevant. And there's going to be new stuff coming out, non-heroics that are going to be topping that.
Yeah,
So,
and like
I want to let Infernoblaze chip in, right? The guy's been eating popcorn. He's almost done his bag. I can see it from over here. Let the guy talk a bit, right? Let's see what he thinks.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt there. They were going at it pretty good. But like,
That's
my view here is it is pay to win, but it's also not. You know what I mean? Like Tom was saying, that 5% is basically meaningless, but it is something because there's no ascension system, right? So like, let's just say you go do a dungeon or something, and you get a rare drop that gives you 40% on both your attack power and your ability power, right? That immediately negates anything heroic Kyros gives you, right? So like, in that sense, it's no longer pay to win because we have an item that just completely outclasses him. But like, at the same time, in the very beginning, you're getting a 5% increase, so a 2.5% in attack power and ability power over the regular variant, like right off the shot.
okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Inferno, and I can't tell you how many times, like, and I've rated in WoW, where we got the boss down to like almost like 2 or 3 hits, and he's dead, and he wipes us all, and it's painful to see. And in those scenarios, like that 5% could have
Yeah, like, it could've done
been the
something.
I mean,
difference.
I actually like I do see your point on that example, but I'm really
Tom
no.
is starting
No,
to
this
see
is
a
coming around.
different light.
This is coming around the other way though. Before you think I'm siding on that one, because on those encounters, right? I've been there. I've done it as well, and it is
Yeah.
in my elitist way. Get good scrubs. Like,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there may be a
like
tactic that you can
it's
use,
going down
right?
consistently. Yeah, better tactics or like it needs to be consistent. Like it shouldn't come down to that. Like to
Yeah.
get you through it, you should be like banging
Oh.
that out without problems. I know what you mean. It's like when
Yeah.
you're doing an encounter for the first time, getting it close and that. But that's not down to like the characters or anything. That's just down to like strats, and
Yeah.
eventually you get used to that. And any like boss attacks that they're doing that you can possibly avoid damage. That's just like getting good, and not like I'm not saying like to you right now to get good or anything, but
No.
eventually it's like you take a boss and it seems really hard, but after you've beat it a few times and that like it gets better, right? But you shouldn't rely on that little bit of extra
Yeah, that
DPS
5%
to
isn't
see you
gonna
through that
carry you
encounter.
to
That
the
just
moon, you
means
know what I mean?
Yeah.
it just means you cheese the boss.
And-
It's not earned or anything.
Yeah, for sure. And I would agree with that. Like, I mean, every time that's happened, there's been like 2 or 3 people that made big mistakes that we could have done it if people had, followed the game and, paid attention, and people made mistakes, and it happens. And I agree that you shouldn't rely on that. But I'm just saying that if you did have heroic Kyros instead of Kyros,
Like
that
it
could have
might
been
be,
the
but
difference.
you can take like a level 5
So,
heroic Kyros and a level 7 Niss, and that Niss might have better stats just because they're 2 levels higher, right?
Oh, she will
So,
for sure,
like,
right? Like
For
Then your
even one
5%
level.
is
Yeah.
irrelevant. But then again,
The other question
the
is,
gate.
did you earn it?
Well, no, because you paid for it, right?
No,
Yeah, exactly. It's
not with
clear
that. I mean,
money.
like, back to Maltese's, back to Maltese's point. And like, that was probably a bad time to come in, but if it's nice to have, but like, if you kill it because of that 5%, did you earn it? No.
No, you didn't earn
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
You paid for
You
it.
paid for that
So,
win, kind of, in a way. But at the same time, you probably could have leveled up a little bit further,
yeah, that's the win.
redone the boss, and then wouldn't matter.
That's not
For sure.
exactly where I was going with that, but
But here we are, right?
No, I know that's
Also,
not what you meant.
guys,
but
I just
we
want
had
to
mess
chip in
with
right
you.
now. There has been
Yeah.
unfortunate news, unless it's a troll, right?
Oh,
But it's Solid that posted it. The early access is
Oh,
delayed
my.
until the 17th of August.
oh yeah, we can see that here in the Discord.
Oh.
Wayfinder was conceived as a
Yep.
fully cross-play and cross-save game, and in order to ensure the best possible experience, all players, the PC version of Wayfinder will go on sale and release August 17th at 12 p.m. CT with PlayStation 4 and 5 to follow shortly after, due to complications beyond our control. That's unfortunate.
Wow.
Right
Updated
here during the
live.
we done
podcast.
all those. We done all those hype events as
Wow.
well, and I'm not feeling so hype right now.
Rip.
Right, man.
That's a good moment to
I
add to the podcast, right?
I booked all the holiday as well.
Yeah, for all the people who booked off work and stuff, like that's gonna be not great unless they booked the whole week off. But like, still.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they did warn everyone, and if something were to happen,
But like at the same time,
like,
right? They shouldn't push out an unfinished and broken game. Like we don't want another Cyberpunk. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sucks, and at the same time, though, like you said, I rather be released good than released like
Yeah,
like
I'd
you
rather
said,
be
Cyberpunk.
stable as soon as I get in there and not be like clipping through the map every 5 seconds and stuff, or like having server errors where we can't even join other players and we're forced to play a multiplayer game solo. Like,
Yeah, true.
That is very disappointing, though.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
That's a shot right there. I'm feeling that.
Let's hope it's the only delay, right? At least.
Yeah. Does that mean the founders packs are delayed as well? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. It's only gonna go on sale on the 17th.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but it happens,
I think, do we want to switch to the next topic?
Well, if we go back to the pay to win thing, I think it was you, Landon, who brought it up when you asked Maltese, like, is doing early access like pay to win because you're starting before everybody else by 6 months.
Yeah.
And
Well,
in my opinion, that's
5 months and like 28 days, right?
5
now?
months, 28
'Cause we're 2 days.
Yeah.
You guys specified that.
Yeah.
I actually wanted Landon to get in on this a little more because I felt like he's kind of just sat there still popcorning, right?
Yeah.
We can let him get in here.
I mean, I don't have much else to say, right? Like, I do see the point of Maltese, and I'll admit, like, if you really go by the definition on paper, it could be considered pay to win by some, but realistically, it's nothing. I don't think it's pay to win because like Tom said, you're not really winning much. You're not gaining necessarily like what I would consider pay to win is something that isn't exclusive. If like you could like get all of the characters right from the start, right? Which you can in a way, but like that's more pay to win to me than Heroic Kyros because he's just like an alternate version that isn't really that much stronger. Like pay to win to me is something that is more generalized, right?
Yeah, like you can press a button that says, "Oh, level up to max rank now for $120."
Yeah,
That's
like I
super
mean,
pay to
if you
win.
think about it, like level boosters in every MMOs, right? That's pay to win as hell.
Yeah, like I find myself buying like an
Yeah.
XP booster in Warframe every now and again, and I guess that does give me an advantage to like level up faster than other people.
Yeah.
I find the
Yeah.
double drops in that game to be like, especially when it comes to Kuva and that for the Riven rolls and that. That's quite an advantage over the people without a boost,
And they might even add that to Wayfinder as well. Like you go do like an open world hunt or something, and you get a booster, and they drop double the amount of resources they would before. That could be also pay to win, right?
Yeah.
But like you were saying, Landon, like
Okay.
starting that 5 months and 28 days beforehand, like that is kind of pay to win, right? Like we're starting that much sooner than everybody else.
Because also, yeah, there is an ascension right now, but you can farm the materials to ascend.
Yeah, so as soon as they drop the
You know what I
ascension, it's
mean?
like, boom, there you go. You beat the pay to win,
Yeah,
right?
day one.
Yeah,
You beat the pay to win. You've probably gotten more items to beat out that 5%, right?
yeah, that's a good way to look at it, you know? And I think it's the best way, honestly, because, you know, there's a lot of games that are truly pay to win, you know, and it's not, I don't think it's fair to give that title to a game like this that is so much more nice, right, in its
Yeah, like we
approach
can't even buy.
Yeah.
compared
You
to
can't buy
something
power. You
else.
can't press a button to instantly max out your character and all that stuff, right? So like, it shouldn't be classed as pay to win, but
Yeah,
it could be seen that
because they
way. You
could have
know?
easily pushed that, you know,
Yeah.
like they could have said, okay, you can buy, you know, like let's say you unlocked Silo, right? And you got him to level 30. They could have said, okay, you can buy your first ascension and then leave it at that, but they're not doing that. You can only buy him
Yeah,
at the
and I think
start, or you can't, you know, if you have him already unlocked.
yeah, and I think like, coming from somebody who would say it's pay to win, I want to do harp on just how great the devs and like what I've heard from like Snarf in particularly talk about the game, about, free and fair, and I I really do think that it comes down to how it feels when you're actually playing the game, if you feel like this necessity that you have to pay or not. And I don't think it'll be like that. I don't think it will make that much of a difference. And I think it'll be a game that rewards you for playing, and you have the option to pay for stuff if
Yeah,
you
like you.
so
I don't think you're gonna
desire.
be in the position where you feel like you're gonna need to buy stuff to play the game and have a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can get
Like a
that.
lot of games are like, oh, you want to go to this cool new area we got? You got this new character, new weapon, new skin, new blah blah blah, right? And it's like, oh, you can only get there if you pay or whatever.
Like, okay, so now we've all kind of gone that on like onto this stuff. Like the last part of this podcast, the topic now has to change because it was release expectations for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, expectation
I,
for a couple days
yeah.
from now.
And also, there's team comps that we could go over, you know?
Oh yes, the team comps as well. Let's go into that. Let's go into team comps. We'll save the release expectations right till
Well,
yeah, it ain't
we'll
gonna be
see.
tomorrow now.
Yeah, we'll see if we do it, you know, because I do want to also, like, at some point in the podcast, cover quickly what the guild has been doing, you know? What programs we've added for people and Discord stuff. We can do that near the end, though.
Yeah, let's go for it. So team comps, guys. Where are we going with this? What are people's thoughts? I mean, everyone's heard me and Landon's last time, but let's get Inferno and Maltese on
Yeah,
the
I
on
can
this
start out with
topic.
that. So I actually have written down here that probably like just for your 3-man group, just going out into the world, having a silo for that AoE damage is going to be great. Possibly either a venomous or a wing grave for your healing, and then Kyros as well for those mid-range attacks would be like a pretty good team in my eyes for just running out in the world your 3-man squad. But then if we think about like raids and stuff where you actually need like coordinated team gameplay, like I'm thinking you're gonna need some sort of AoE, you're gonna need heals, you're gonna need DPS for sure for that boss at the end, right?
Yeah, pretty interesting. Like, can you think of any others that
For
you
sure.
want to run as a backup case? Like, what are you even thinking people might run just in general to get through the content the first time?
But just to get through the first time, probably like honestly, I don't think anyone's gonna switch too far from their starter Wayfinder, right? Just for that beginning content. Because some people might just like, oh, I like Niss, I want to play Niss, so I'm just gonna run through with Niss. But then when they get to the raids, whenever they come, right, you're gonna need to have like a coordinated team. And with the Niss example, I don't really see Niss being super crazy good in the end there.
Yeah, I actually, a lot of people have been saying that on our, like, when I've gone around talking to them, like, Niss is going to be really good to start with, but anything with a load of ads and that kind of, not too great.
Yeah, in most games,
Not
like
too great.
AoE becomes the meta. And there isn't like too crazy AoE like there is in other games, right? But like Silo being able to spread his firebomb explosive there, Venomous with her toxin clouds, and then you have Kyros with his ultimate ability, right? You're just hitting a bunch of guys all at once. And that'll be great for ad clearing.
On the tank side of that, what are you more towards though? Like in terms of what you think might be great on the tank side. So either at this point in time it's Senja or Wingrave, right?
Yeah, like I think to be honest, Wingrave is going to be good because he can heal the team and himself in bursts, provide those shields so enemies can't hit you, right? Like you send in your Wingrave, and then you have like your Silo behind, just like taking out the rest of the ads. That'll be really powerful in my opinion.
Interesting, because that's almost like it's very close to what Landon had last podcast on the introduction of it, where he had very similar, but he went with Senja for the pool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went with Senja, Wingrave, and Kyros for a very turtle-based team.
Yeah, like definitely
Yeah, I was
for
listening
like
to that.
Rays and stuff, you're gonna want a tank for sure. But just for your like 3-man comp, you might not need a tank depending on what you're doing, right? Like just running straight DPS
You
and
know, that's
healing
what
might
I
just
was
be the way
thinking.
to go, just to push through the world.
Yeah.
I think it depends on
Yeah, I
content.
It
think
really depends on what you're
definitely.
doing for sure, yeah.
Yeah, for
If you're doing
sure.
like a big boss, it's like
I
you
think
need a
outside
team.
of
But if you're just running around, we're doing the public events or whatever, and don't need that high level of coordination.
right, especially if you have a Silo who can like taunt enemies, and you had like a Venomous who's like pretty and Niss even with her mobility, you can kite enemies and just kill them down pretty quick. Like I wonder if like outside of raids, if you really need a tank, if you have the right setups and
I
builds it
would
and
like to
everything.
think that dungeons, you like for the harder stuff, you would still need that.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
Hopefully,
I won't lie.
I hope so.
I won't lie. It'd be disappointing if it didn't, because it'd be like just a button mash kind of
I
thing.
have a feeling.
Where I'd like there to be some mechanics you need to block, or you need to heal your team through stuff like
I have a
that.
feeling that the early on dungeons, you probably don't really need that coordinate of a team, but like
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
doing the ones with the modifiers and stuff, and you're changing the way how the dungeon operates, then you're probably going to want a more structured team. And a tank will probably be a decent, good bit of that, right?
Yeah, that's exactly where my head was on that. Like the earlier stuff, sure. Like,
Because you're going to have all the
introduce
new people
to the
coming
game
in and just doing whatever. But then once you get to the dedicated farming in the dungeons, you're going to want tank, you're going to want healing for sure. And then you're going to want maybe DPS. Maybe you can just run 2 tanks and a healer, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm actually hoping that 2 tanks will be seen in this game. Like because they got taunts, right? So why not have taunt switch mechanics where you build up certain stacks or something, and then you have to taunt switch so the
Well,
other guy can clear stacks.
we could test. I mean, yeah, actually, it would work either way. It's just, you're hoping there is a mechanic to use that,
Yeah, I could see it being more in a raid environment than
Anything else, yeah.
than in dungeons, though.
Like
Yeah.
in the dungeons.
Yeah.
I feel like dungeons feel like they're too low man for it, but I feel like if you go 6 or 8 people, maybe in raids, depending on size, you could get away with that pretty easy.
Yeah, I think the raids are 6 people, aren't they?
4 DPS, 2 heals. I've seen 6 floated about. I've seen 8 also floated about. But I mean, either way, it would be great because it'd be like go 6, 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 heals, or something like that, or 1 healer with 3 DPS and 2 tanks.
Yeah,
or,
that'd be good. I feel
there's
like
ways
8
around
people
that.
coordinating 8 people might be a bit much, which is where the 6 number I think is coming from, because that's double the normal squad size.
So I mean, 6 right now would actually work really good with our team stacks and Retribution, right? Because a lot of them are 1 in 6. I think we have only a few that are going above that number.
I hope raids are 6 people. I feel like it would fit better, yeah.
Yeah, it would. Then the raids are going to have like more area to accommodate the 6 to 8 people or whatever. Like we saw in the OTK gameplay, like that's a huge boss room. Like you could fit 8 people in there for sure.
I'm actually gonna surprise you guys with a shock topic because of the
All right.
release note. So I actually had this one saved for next podcast, but we can go over it. Let's have a quick discussion on PC versus console and what that may entail.
Yeah.
In terms of how the game is going to run, or in terms of who is going to have the advantage?
Let's kind of go with everything that we can possibly think of here, like advantage, load times, graphics, stuff like that.
PC easily.
Well, I'm thinking
Yeah, but
PS5.
PC may have it in like that, but we don't know about the controls like that. Like that's I want to debate like that kind of stuff as well, because in Warframe it's super
PC
obvious.
will be better.
Well, with the PS5
for
having
aiming,
solid state and the PCs having solid state recommendation for the low end specs, your load times are going to be pretty similar. But they've also said, like, for best experience, play on controller. Right? So that's going to be interesting to see how that actually comes up against keyboard and mouse users.
I think with because with the there's only like 5 abilities really that you use. So like I think it's actually will feel really good on a controller. So I think like a PC, will still, be good, but like I think controller might actually not necessarily be better, but it might just feel more like concurrent because with keyboard you have like so many buttons you can press, and you won't really have that necessarily advantage with this game.
Do you reckon to be like in FPS? Do you reckon to be any aim assist for controllers? Because like I feel like that might play into the whole mouse thing with like guns and that in this game.
Well, that might be why they said
Can
to
I
use
ask?
controller, right? Sorry, Landon. Go ahead.
Can I quickly throw something in? Sorry, it's actually something that I just realized. Is anyone here on PC or PlayStation? Like quickly.
I mean, I'll be playing
Who's
on
on
PC.
Yeah,
Malt?
PC, yeah.
Okay, so
On
we're
PC.
lucky it's not going to affect us, but in the announcement, they say PC Wayfinder will go on sale on the August 17th, and PlayStation will follow shortly after. It's not coming out at the same time. We don't know.
Oh, okay, that'll be interesting for how they have
So
to
right now, I mean,
incorporate,
there's
like crossplay.
Yeah, and then this topic here kind of like pay to win with a PC, right?
Yeah, we get an extra.
I don't want to laugh because I feel really bad for some of our members.
No, yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
bad for the
it's-
members, but at the same time, PC Master Race bitches like.
Sometimes it's just how it is, right?
Oh,
I mean, especially since there's
gosh,
no
yeah,
Xbox at all, right?
that wording
So
is interesting.
having
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah,
those guys.
and then
Those
Xbox,
guys you want to
yeah.
feel
delayed
sorry for, right?
PlayStation and then PC first. That's something for sure.
You know, I'm kind of disappointed. Mobile and Switch when,
Yeah, right.
for those moments. Take your Switch to work, play Wayfinder, need a dump. Well, go on your phone,
I mean, I've
Great.
heard a lot of talk
Play
that
all the time.
Wayfinder looks like it could be a mobile game.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing I am actually like worried about is I hope it doesn't feel like a mobile
Yeah, well,
game.
I mean,
if
they
that
did
makes
say
sense.
I don't think
they'll
it
be
will
adjusting
feel
the
like
UI
one.
as well.
I mean, I could definitely see a mobile port coming, right? I mean, Wayfinder's Warframe,
For
sorry,
sure.
is a really good example of that where they're pushing that, and they did bring it to Switch eventually as well. I mean, if it's kind of going off that system, I don't see why they couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like
With,
we've seen a
some
lot of
adjustments.
handhelds coming
I
out
mean-
recently as well with the ROG Ally. We got the Steam Deck. So like adapting a game for like mobile use would probably be profitable for them as well.
Oh yeah, it for sure would. And with how it looks right now, I don't see how it would be incredibly hard to do, like with controls and stuff like that.
I do think the big mistake here for this game was not letting the Xbox people win.
Yeah, I think that was a huge one. I saw that on the Reddit last night. Someone was saying like, "Why are you guys supporting Xbox?" And apparently it's because Xbox wants them to support new gen and last gen. And I guess there's a huge gap in like the console's performance, right? So they have to like tone down how the game actually plays for everyone just to allow the Xbox to play, like the last gen Xbox.
I could, yeah, I guess, but then why release it on the free-to-play release? Because do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
like
why not just?
I don't know. I guess they want to
Yeah.
I
take
can
more
answer
time to
that.
figure it out.
They're moving to Unreal Engine 5 before free to play release.
Oh right, I forgot about
So
that.
the game will probably be smoother.
Well, we'll see.
Hmm.
Unreal 5 sometimes has its issues, so but it looks beautiful. Like I've seen a lot of games coming out with Unreal 5 and they look amazing.
Wait. So they're switching the entire engine?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they're updating it from 4 to 5. I don't know how much work it is, but it must be a lot of work
okay.
still.
I mean, yeah, that's also a concern. Like especially if it will move free to play like
I
on the right
I
time
mean, to be
frame.
fair, right, from my point of view, this stuff should have been probably done before the founders come in the way
Yeah.
and stuff, like, because there's going to be a bunch of reviews going out, and yeah, if the game's going to slightly change due to that or anything,
You
like,
know what's rough for me?
Go on.
Over half of my squad, right? There's 7 people in Rats, or 6, and at least 4 of them are on console.
Oh boy.
My
Oh,
group
no.
just crumbled, dude. It's going crazy in the forums right now.
Oh boy.
feels bad.
It may just be like
They
an
have
hour or
said,
so. It's
sorry,
haven't.
Maltese. Solid
Yeah,
Age
go
did
ahead,
say
go.
if they can somehow figure out a way to do it at the same time, they will.
Oh, I'm sure that they will.
There's
Yeah.
a chance.
Because now they've basically exiled Xbox. PC and PlayStation are their big money makers right now. So if they can get both out at the same time,
Mhm.
it'll be so worth it for them.
Actually, going back to the trading one real quick, maybe trading might not be a good idea. And I say, no, hear me out. From a console point of view, okay? I want to be realistic here. Let's take Warframe, and I want you to go and look at Warframe market. The PC has a real healthy market, but the console ones are like double, triple the price. And there's not a lot of activity on those. And like, why is that the case? Are people going from the console to the PC for to have access to the better market? Because right now, keep in mind, it's cross-play but not cross-save. So if they're going to PC, they're starting all over again at this point.
Yeah, they are. I've heard from Switch users that
I thought it
it's
was
cross-play right
cross-save.
now. Cross-save is coming soon, TM. I would assume they might announce that at the upcoming TennoCon. But
I'm
I don't know.
I'm expecting something TennoCon-wise to, even if they just say it's coming out next year or something, just some sort of update to say when that is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people waiting for that update.
But going back to your trading thing, I've heard from people who play on Switch that the Switch market is so bad because no one plays on Switch like as much as they play on PC, you know what I mean? So there's less of said item for sale.
I actually tried the game on Switch.
I've heard it's bad.
You know, do you remember when they like ported across and that? I ported the save file across.
Mm.
And it was rough. It's rough.
Yeah, I've heard it's rough over there.
This could actually go with the current topic, like PC first, console in a way. But if they ever put this game on Switch or anything like that, it's going to be real rough because it's going to be like playing on the previous gen consoles in a way where any kind of Necros that summons 7 minions on top of some explosion effects and that's going to be some lag.
The Switch will most likely have a new console in the next 2 years.
I was saying they might wait for the next
It's been
Switch
like
to
6
come
to
out.
7 years now. Yeah, it's been a long time the Switch has
I think
been
there's
out.
a rumor of the Switch 2
Nintendo
being leaked that's coming
2024
in like the next 2 years.
Yeah, or something like 2024 Christmas or whatever.
It desperately needs to come out. I mean, even the Pokemon games on there are atrocious right now.
It's not the Switch's fault. I was a Switch player. I'm gonna protect the Switch. The devs are bad. Go play Tears of the Kingdom and tell me that the Switch isn't like. You have good devs and you have bad devs.
Yeah.
And you saw it with Pokemon Scarlet Violet, and you saw it with Tears of the Kingdom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've
You really saw like
they obviously developed the game on PC, but then they have to port it back to their Switch or whatever they have to put it on, and they have to drop the FPS down to 30, right?
60 would have been good, yeah.
They
But
start at
30
60
was
on the PC, they drop it to 30 on the
Yeah.
Switch. So if you're developing it like that, you're gonna obviously have drops like that. Same thing for Wayfinder. If they port to mobile, they port to Switch, they port to whatever else comes out, right? They're gonna have to find a way to optimize really well for that hardware.
I did think about for the mobile and even the Switch, and maybe even the lesser consoles, the older gen, some kind of like streaming thing, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
get what I mean? Like you got the Nvidia Shield kind of stuff.
Oh,
Why don't
yeah,
they just
yeah,
stream it? I mean, for the Switch mobile makes a lot more sense. Maybe not the older
for sure.
consoles so much, but I mean that would definitely like have a more pleasant time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, with the whole different consoles would have, I think, effect on trading because like you said, it always has different like pricing and stuff like that. And I am hoping that like they don't let the other forums the game can be on like drag the game down because that could be a pitfall to fall into.
Yeah, like they're gonna have to
I'm
optimize
partly
if they port anywhere else, and that's gonna if it runs bad on Switch, that's all everyone's gonna hear about. Oh, the game sucks. It runs bad. It runs like crap. But they're not gonna look at
Yeah.
it's because of someone playing it on the Switch, not on the PC or PS5 or whatever.
I know, like, when we're playing Warframe, if I get console players in, if they take a minute to load, it's guaranteed a Switch player. I mean, the newer ones are actually not too bad on the loading times. They're not too much slower than the PC.
Yeah, like sometimes
But
they'll have really bad load times. Like you'll load into a mission and then the crossplay person
mission's over.
they get in when you get out. So I hope that
Yeah.
Wayfinder finds a way to kind of speed up that process or something, or keep everybody in the loading screen until everyone is in.
Like a MOBA, right? Like a MOBA has everyone in the loading
Or
screen
like
until
load
everyone's
everybody in,
loaded
keep
in.
them in the first room, and then don't let them leave the first room until everybody is confirmed, loaded in, boots on the ground.
I would actually prefer it that way
Yeah,
because I
that way
think
you can
just hanging on the
just hang
loading
out and do
screen.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope they make loading screens like kind of cool, like how Warframe has it. Like where you can control your ship or something. Like, I think it'd be really interesting to have like a fun like loading screen because that's one thing I really
Like if you
enjoyed
could
from
have your
digital
mount or
games.
something that's just there, like you're all running off into the sunset or something, have you like your
Yeah,
horse
or
running, you can move them back and forth or something. I don't
or
know.
like something like that.
The
Yeah,
one thing I did want to push on with the topic with was like the future of like let's say Wayfinder's gonna last 10, 15 years, etc.
Holy.
Right? So where are we going with future? Like let's say they upgrade the game over time, right? So obviously the current gen consoles now are gonna start, the struggle eventually, right?
Yeah, of course.
So where would you want them to go with? Where would you want them to go with that? Like, how far do you want them to push the upgrades in this game before it really makes the older stuff obsolete? Keep in mind, this goes for computers as well on older hardware. As the game goes, changes
right.
specifications
Well,
and
they already
stuff.
have pretty high
So, like, where would
requirements
you like the
for
game?
PC, right? Like you need your Ryzen
Yeah,
5
yeah.
3600 and you need your what is it, the 5600 XT or something for the AMD GPU, which is last
Yeah,
gen, so
I'm
that's like
still a
30
little.
series NVIDIA, right?
I'm still a little optimistic with that. I feel like it could run on less. Like you get a couple of those game devs making games, and they kind of like overspec the recommendations and stuff a bit. I feel like it could be one of these cases,
Yeah,
but
plus if you just turn
until
down
we
your
actually
settings,
play
it
it,
always uses less VRAM on your GPU, right? So you can make games that
yeah,
aren't supposed to run on your hardware okay-ish.
For sure. Like way back when, I actually like I don't know, like 7 years ago, I actually played Warframe, and it was dedicated video RAM is what I was like lacking, and by a lot. But Warframe actually ran really smooth on
Yeah,
my
like
old computer because I
they haven't
brought
updated
everything down.
their Warframe in basically that 10 years. They're just recently starting to update their specs with your minimum requirements, right? Because they're currently developing for two different like not engines, but like the game looks two different ways depending on which graphics engine you use. So they have to develop textures for both sides, and at some point they want to merge them into one, and it'll be more focused on the higher resolution engine, right? So
Yeah, I'm with it. The enhanced,
the enhanced
engine,
engine.
or whatever they call it.
So they're gonna have to make a lot of hardware just not running it anymore. And then if Wayfinder does the same thing, they keep the same specs from now and 10 years from now, and then they kind of do the same thing, or maybe they incorporate a lower tier engine or whatever, which is a lot of work to maintain, obviously, since DE is a huge company now, and they want to already get rid of it, so they don't have to do double the work, right?
Yeah.
So if Wayfinder can keep the same specs from now till 10 years from now, and then maybe if they need to, if the PS5 becomes obsolete and we get the PS7 or whatever, then they can adjust, right? Like,
I'm sorry. I just imagine a PS7 is like a huge box. It's like an Amazon box size
I know
console.
the consoles
you know?
always like evolve in the way they look, right? Like you go from the PS4, which is just a black square, and then you get the PS5, which is those like white
Which
outlines.
are beautiful.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful PS5. You know, like I
So-
don't like consoles, but I would buy it just to look at it.
So to quickly summarize this topic, then, like, let's just put out some key points here. So on movement, who do you want to give it to? If you had to pick one, who would you give it to? PC or console? Regardless of what you've read about
Oh,
controller.
sorry. Okay, I would give it to PC. Always.
Yeah, I think
Inferno?
in this game it shouldn't really matter, but probably PC. Yeah.
Maltese?
I think I'm gonna go with console. Actually,
Maltese, why do you have to always
Um,
say the opposite, man?
It's always that guy, you know.
you know,
It's that guy.
To
You
oppose
know?
everyone.
No,
You know?
and only by like 51%, just because it might technically it might feel better.
Mhm.
And that's the only reason. I'm like 51%. I was like, it could go either
Okay,
way.
okay.
So, but you
Like,
made
to
me
just
pick
Okay,
put
one.
hands down
Okay.
on that,
Fair.
right? Like if you're playing a racing game, you can adjust your speed way better using a controller. But this is just you're running around doing whatever. So PC,
Right.
console, whatever. PC is probably just going to be more comfortable, I guess,
But
maybe
to
depending on your scenario. You know.
yeah. Well, to me, like for instance, like Spider-Man when it was released on the PC, I played it on a friend's PlayStation, and swinging just feels
Because you
better
get the
on the
response from
PlayStation.
the motors,
I
right?
was able to get
It's more comfortable in the
that,
hands
and
too.
just
Yeah.
like just the feel. Yeah, it's comfortable in the hands, and it gives you that kind of fantasy of swinging. When you're just pressing keys, it doesn't give you that nice feel. And I say that as a person who I used to play more console, and in the past like 5 years I've been on PC. So I just think that might feel better. It may not necessarily have the highest frame rates and perform necessarily better, but in terms of comfortability,
Yeah, like I used to
is
do
where
a
I
lot
was
of
Okay,
going.
and
PlayStation.
just to go on, like combat, do you just want to do a quick vote on that quickly? You know, just to make sure that's solidified. So,
Okay.
Inferno, do you want to
Um,
lead with that?
Well,
Like,
for combat, if you're going for like just general gameplay, I think it doesn't matter. But if you're going for like, I don't know, like your min max speed run or whatever, usually keyboard and mouse, since sometimes you're plugged into the machine right away, you have higher response time. But now that like we have higher response time Bluetooth connection, right? It doesn't really matter. It's just personal preference. So I think that like in terms of combat, it might be easier just to press your abilities on keyboard.
okay, and Landon.
I just look, okay. I've played on console when I was a kid, and now the only time I ever use a remote is to play fighting games, because there is reasons that like a controller can be really good for certain things, right? But when there's aiming in a game, and I know some Call of Duty, Battlefield people will say stuff, right? But I come from FPSs like CS:GO and stuff, so for me, true aiming is done on a mouse, not on a little joystick that goes left and right, you know? I need a mouse to
Yeah.
feel proper. So for me, any type of aiming, which is actually a big part of the game with the weapon types and silo, right? I'm going, like, I'd be dumb to not use my mouse and keyboard.
Like-
That is my personal opinion, and I know I've had this conversation with a few members, right, of the guild, and they've told me, right, they're really good on COD with a controller, but I still think on a mouse you can be better than on a controller.
I mean, put it this way, they have to have aim assist to
Yeah,
achieve
you're gonna be
that,
more
right? So-
precise on keyboard
That's
mouse.
it. They need a
Have
crutch,
aim assist-
right?
aim
They
assist
can't.
on controller, right?
They need a crutch. They like the controller is inferior if you need a crutch for it to work well. That's how I see it personally.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that in a way. Like, I think if you have like it, and that's the thing of like Call of Duty. It's I've heard kind of the, you know, the aim thing is kind of like pushes the controller ahead a little bit in some scenarios. I've heard some streamers say that. I'm not a big Call of Duty fan anymore, but
Right, and like something that I've noticed a lot of controller people, right? They put their sensitivity up to aim well, while on mouse people put their sensitivity down to aim well most of the time. And I find that just goes to show
Yeah.
how much more accurate a mouse is, that you have to slow it down so you have even more control.
Because the aim assist
Compared
is
to a
carrying pretty
joystick.
heavy.
right,
on
it's more
joystick,
minute.
right?
Yeah, that's it.
The only thing I could give like controller edge for is like Battlefield, like flying the planes.
But
and
we're
stuff.
not playing those
Yeah.
those shitty games. We're playing a good game. I really don't like this type of
I'll
games.
give him it. I'll give him it with the state of Battlefield. I'll give him it. All right.
There you go. Yeah.
I can't
for sure.
defend that game. Okay.
For sure.
It's my honest. It's like my opinion, right? I hate those type of games. I've
I
tried
know I have a
them.
bunch of angry COD and Battlefield fans in the comments below.
Oh
and-
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I
Oh,
used
yeah.
to enjoy
You're gonna
Call of
get
Duty,
lots
but
of-
I'm off that now.
I played it when I was 11, and I realized it wasn't that much fun.
Plus the
That's
toxic
why I
community,
I mean,
right?
I enjoy that with more the family than I
Well,
do
if you
anything
play
else.
it chill, I can understand. If it's like a way for you to cope. If
Yeah,
you
for
play
sure.
it for so long, it's like just a stress releaser, But like
it's not a stress release. Trust me.
Oh, I don't think I've ever used Call of Duty as a stress releaser. It's more
Yeah,
a
that's what I was
stress
saying.
releaser.
I'm more stressed at what my squad is doing in like Warzone. To get, like where's the support and stuff. Like it's not stress relieving at all. It's like what the fuck are you doing? Kind of. Like, where's my backup, man?
Yeah. I think it was Maltese now, or did Maltese go for the?
I think
go
I
for it,
kind
Maltese,
of said
go for
it,
it.
but I didn't. Like, I think like it again. Like
Oh,
comfortability
no, this
may be
again.
really good.
Controller.
No, but oh my gosh, no. I think like in terms of actually my new, it all comes down to if the aim assist is going to be a thing, and if it's going to be really prominent. If it's going to be kind of normal and just a little, it's not going to push them too ahead, then PC.
Oh, thank
That's
God.
just shocking. Shocking. He's making progress.
He's changing.
Welcome to the dark side, buddy.
He's joining the crew. So Tom, because the podcast, I can only imagine it's above an hour now. I kind of want to close it off. And our last topic, I'm gonna change it, guys, okay? Because the new situation that arose.
Okay.
But before I tackle the last topic, for all guild members, right, from Retribution, I did want to say that we've introduced a system for content creators, right? Like Infernoblaze and Maltese in here, that will allow you guys to interact with one another easily in the Discord, and also have access to a bunch of stuff, right? Like I make pixel art, so for example, I made the pixel art in the background of this video. So I can make emotes and stuff for these people, right? For all content creators, you just have to contact me. Also, we've just been adding a lot of stuff, right? Like a voice creator bot, so we don't have 1,000 channels for voice. You can make your own and customize it. We have the groups, right? We have 2 knights over here. We have Rats, which I am the leader of, and we have Nemesis, which Tom is the leader of. Maltese is the leader of Knights. What other features do we have? Actually, we have a bunch of giveaways, right, in the guild news channel, and the guild is always growing, right? We're looking for officers. We're looking for retribution guides as well. So that was just a quick rundown of what the guild has added.
We've had some crazy growth, right? Games not being out, and we've been really.
We're over
growing.
60 members if you don't count
here.
leadership.
New people every day, at least 3 to 4 every day.
For sure.
Yeah. And you want to know, like, look, I'll actually tell the numbers on stream because I want to show how split it is, right? We have 22 NA members, 21 EU members, 11 EU recruits, 11 NA recruits. It's literally split. Like, right now it's 50-50.
Is that including maybes? Is that including the maybe people that want to see the game, or is that just
not at all? Right? It's just what we got confirmed in the Discord talking right now, you know.
So we potentially got like if you include the maybe people now, we potentially got like 80 off the bat straight there, and the game is not out.
Exactly.
I really hope the guild system comes out, and it's like, do you remember what Bing said? Like, imagine if they had a guild of 50 people.
Oh, I'd laugh. I'd be like, Retribution 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, every leader has a Retribution sub guild. That'd be funny, but in a sad way.
The guild system to be like another friends list in game. Like, what's the point of that? Is what Solid was saying, right? They want like an in-depth.
Well, the neighborhood is a good step. Yeah, the neighborhood is a good step towards that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I want to go to the last topic now, right? So before we were going to talk about how hyped we were and what we were expecting tomorrow, and we're going to stay in the same vein of question, but why do you guys think there has been a delay to the 17th?
Oh,
who wants to
that's
start?
a good question, honestly, because as far as we know, there hasn't been any server issues, but it could very well be like the crossplay between PlayStation and PC. Like, we don't really know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
because they have said that they've played live today. They played on the game live, and they have said it is not related to them. It is not a bug. So it has to be something from the exterior, right? It has to be.
Yeah.
What do you think, Maltese?
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but from what I've seen, people kind of blamed it on this company, and I was like, it really might be because they also specify there might be a difference of time release between PC and PlayStation. I think it really might be a Sony disagreement, like Sony, something on Sony's side that they're making Wayfinder do, and I think it might be something to do with that.
That's a good point. Yeah, because
I can get behind that because it's always Sony normally dragging their heels.
Well, I mean,
even in our guild chat, we had people saying in our guild chat like they're Sony fans, but they know that Sony is pretty shitty with stuff like crossplay. So like it seems to be like a known fact from everyone.
Well, I know for both console companies, if you want to put out like an update or something, you have to like say, "Oh, Sony, we're doing this," or Microsoft, we're doing this, and then they have to like approve that, and then you do it, right? Like when Warframe has to push out an update, they have to get it like approved, I guess, by Sony is not the right word, but they have to get approved by Sony, Microsoft, so they can push out this update, like their certificate or whatever. So it could definitely be like a disagreement where Sony's like, you can't do this yet. We need you to do this first, and then you're in the clear.
I may have a slightly I agree with the Sony thing, but I can't remember what game it was, but didn't Sony like give a certain game company certain demands that it had to have X, Y, Z and run like this way and that, and the game didn't, so they pulled it off the stores. Might have even been Cyberpunk or something they done it to or something. Like I reckon like it's not running too well and they want it touched up or something like just something like that. Might be as petty as that.
I don't think that would be that because they said it's not related to them. I think it could be as much of an issue as just like we want to price it this way, and then Wayfinder's like that's too expensive.
Because Sony needs the cut. Like I know when DE talks about their platinum pricing for Warframe, it's more expensive on the PlayStation Store every time because Sony needs their 5% or whatever they get, right?
Yeah, I think it must be something like that, or literally just like they couldn't make the PlayStation servers work with the PC servers, and it would just be too. I don't. There's just so many different possibilities
like
here.
we're not in the studio, like we don't know, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, are one of you guys in the studio? You send us quick pics, quick pics of the game.
I wish as well.
I'd love to as well.
If I was ready to be at the first thing, just saying.
yeah, right.
Tom would be like, "Stop making dungeons. We're going right to raids."
Yeah.
Yeah, if any of you were on the team, I'd yell at you to go back to work so we can have Wayfinder quicker.
Sure, right? Get back to work. We need our game now. No delays. No delays.
I would definitely be slipping our guild some info. Just saying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Gotta get that advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'm reading the Wayfinder general chat, and it's actually really like people don't seem to realize that like the two community managers in Serious Narf and Solid Age, they're not devs. I don't think, and they're not working
they're
on the game.
community
They're getting
managers.
mad at these people. Yeah, they're just
Like some people
they're
don't
just
understand
talking.
that sometimes things happen. Like you literally can't control if Sony says no. Like what are you gonna do?
That's it. Like.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Like, do you just say, like, okay, PC people, wait till free to play?
Like
okay, no, you guys try to
PlayStation
figure something
entirely,
out.
Throw it out in the garbage.
I'm actually gonna take I'm gonna do like those people a small little solid favor here. I'm having a hard time believe they realized this was a problem right at this moment.
They said they thought they had a solution and it didn't work out. Whatever that means. Either we trust these guys and we trust their word, or we think maybe they're trying to save face. That's a different conversation.
I'm not thinking they're trying to save face, but I feel like this should have been probably said a little earlier, rather than
the night before.
It's 17 hours away from the
tomorrow,
game
right?
launch. People are hyped. People are going to be like,
I wouldn't buy snacks
people are
for
going to be
this.
angry.
I gotta eat those snacks before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, think of all the money. Like people, I mean, yeah, I can look at it this way. Like I'm in the same boat. I book time off for the game and stuff, and there are some people that aren't going to be able to change that at all. Like they've just wasted their holiday and now they're sat there twiddling thumbs and stuff. And I mean, I feel like 17 hours is
It's cutting it a little close.
too close.
If they just encountered it now,
Inferno. Can I send you something? Can I tell you something right now?
Yeah, sure.
Serious Narf just mentioned that no one's getting invites to the Wayfinder Creator Guild for now. They're watching the creators for the first few months in EA.
Okay.
So if ever, I know you had contacts, so don't worry, right? Snarf basically just said, they're not actually replying right away.
They've been very iffy on their responses. I know someone else in the guild here. I'm not going to name names. They kind of gave him the runaround. So hopefully they're fair.
Yeah, I think they're really taking their time.
I really hope they're fair and equal to every creator, regardless of subscribers. Even if I don't get in, that's fine.
Right.
But if someone who's brand new is starting out, they're making great content for the game, let them in, right?
Right, like Maltese, for example,
Maltese.
right? Maltese is starting off.
They should be letting in whoever. They should be fair and equal. But they did say they want to support smaller channels and stuff as well, which is
I feel like it's
Yeah.
a good way though, because if you go to the self-promotion, there's been a lot of people not making content anything related to Wayfinder. They've just been spamming their channel on political topics and stuff.
I've seen somebody in there like, "Oh, I'm playing Final Fantasy tonight. Come watch," and it's like, yeah, okay, sure, that's a good way to get your reach out there. But I guess we're kind of more looking for other Wayfinder creators. Is how.
The
community
it's not contributing to the. It's not contributing to the community whatsoever. You putting a YouTube channel and talking about politics, right? Keep it related at least, or something. Give us a taste of what your Wayfinder content is going to look like.
And it's not like
bring something new, right?
And other spaces, right? There has to be a Reddit or something for that specific game where you can go post your video or something, right? You don't have to be spamming your politics, your Final Fantasy or whatever in Wayfinder Discord.
Wayfinder.
I post my Wayfinder stuff in the Wayfinder Discord, right? I'm not going to post. If I make a video on Warframe, I don't put it in there because what's the point? It's a different audience, different people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel that's probably why they're taking the slower approach as well. Like there is a lot of like clickbaity stuff, and maybe some of those people might die off as well. When so I'd imagine some people are just doing it to try and get in on that, and if they don't get in on that, they kind of just give up as well.
Yeah, because right now it's all just reading a script, right? Reading information that's there. But like when the game's out, are you gonna have the personality to make people say, "I want to watch this dude's video," right?
Or even like, are you going to make
And-
videos like far into the future? Should they be letting this person into the program, right?
Yeah, because they don't want to let someone in, and then this guy just sits down and he's like, "Oh, I'm taking a week off." Like, dude, that ain't how it works, you know?
Like maybe tomorrow I'll stop making videos, right? And then boom,
Yeah.
like I'm in the programs. Let's say I'm in the program. I stop making videos entirely tomorrow. That was a waste of a spot, right? Like sure they can go and find somebody else, but like
For sure.
Can I just
And
say something real quick? General discussion right now. There's a post going around. This one actually made me laugh. If we can't turn off crossplay, it's just another game that aim assist wins all.
I mean,
Hey, look,
to be fair, there should be a toggle maybe
saying.
for turning off crossplay. Like I mean, there is one in Warframe, and sometimes you do get a lot less like full of squads when you do that. But sometimes,
I
depending on
think
the
for
server, if you
dungeon
don't want to wait
content.
5-10 minutes extra
Yeah.
for someone else to load in.
But I feel like guilds if done right, could bridge that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, guilds will make this
And
game work. And Maltese, I'm sorry,
On
go
the-
ahead, Maltese.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say on the creative side, I think they also want to wait to see if they're also going to be positive.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like I think they're welcome to critiques, but I think they want whoever's going to be added to their creatives. I think they want them to be supportive of the game. That doesn't mean not critique it, but I don't think they want to add people that will just. Because a lot of times streamers and content creators can totally create a problem where it may be a small problem, and then a streamer says it's a problem, and all of a sudden it's
Yeah,
like
you have to be careful what you say
magnified.
if you're in a
And if they
position
just
like that
hype-
where you can, I guess, influence what people are thinking. Like if people who have a big following say
Right.
like, "Oh, like this
Be
game sucks,"
level-minded.
then a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, this game sucks," and then it might hurt the game depending on how big you are and stuff, right?
Exactly. And if you're like supported by them and you're one who's just always saying negative things, again, like I think they're open to critiques and they're open for conversation. But if you're just talking about, oh, this game sucks, and it's pay to win.
Yeah, come on, Maltese. What the heck? You're not in. You're cut. I do think
Yeah,
that
no, actually,
there should be
he's
some sort
like,
of
all right.
thing in the agreement or whatever you make with them that you're allowed to give feedback and say the game sucks, quote unquote, but like not make all your content being like, oh, this game sucks, this game sucks, this game sucks, why this game failed, why it sucks, type of deal. But you should be.
That sounds
free
like a
to-
lot of Warframe. Do you remember the old Warframe YouTubers, like the original? It sounds like a couple of old ones of those,
Yeah, right. Like you
Just
should be able
saying.
to express what
There's
you
a-
want to say, but you shouldn't. If you're a creator in
I'm
their
right home.
program, you probably shouldn't be making all your content focused on why the game sucks in quotations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because it's so easy to attack something in early access. Like, dude, like I'm sure someone's gonna make a whole video about why not having a mount but having it in your inventory is like BM or something, and it's like they've told us ahead of time, we know what you're buying into, but like don't complain about
You know,
stuff.
they've said it like
like
100 times
that,
in the Discord. Like, this is early access. This is not a
Right.
full game. Please expect early access. We're
Exactly.
doing a real early access,
Right.
not early access is in we're putting out the game and just kind of seeing how it goes type of deal. They're putting out the game. It probably is going to be buggy, and that's okay. Right?
And I think with that, like people who want to rush to the end, that's fine if you do that, but like if all of a sudden there's a lack of content,
Like, that's on you.
then like I think like that's what, yeah, right. And I don't want people to rush to the end and then rush through like 100 hours plus of content. If I don't know the numbers, but whatever it is, they rush through it and they'll be like, "There's nothing
Yeah,
for
they'll
me
just
to do."
like
you
that
know?
meme of like the person just looking around, like
Yeah.
like like just
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like that.
Like,
Like,
where's my
what did you
content?
expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, the John
Well, that's why
Travolta.
that
Like,
video, like,
you
don't
know,
expect the full game. But like, and I said in that video, like, don't rush to the end. Like, you shouldn't do that because then there's gonna be nothing for you to do. And if you do that, you should expect that you're gonna hit a wall, and there's not gonna be anything past said wall until like 3 months from now. Like, I'm gonna rush
it's like
to the end.
IRL people speed running
For sure.
life, dude. They're like
Yeah.
speed running life, and then at the end they're like,
That's it.
You
Like,
know
I'm gonna
what?
rush to the
I
end.
have to give the devs to it though, right? So well, we won about the raid subject term in Discord. If you remember that one, Landon, that was ages ago now.
yeah,
And they blatantly come out and said, if you're here like for the raids and stuff, don't play it yet. Like they literally like just came out truthfully instead of just like baiting someone along, you know, like some companies do. Because yeah, they'll be there eventually. No, they were like, look, just don't play it yet. Like if you're not like big on the founder rewards and testing all that stuff, like hold off on it until that stuff comes. It is coming. It is being worked on, and they gave hints of that as well. Like we got a
Yeah.
whole post of, I think it was biblical and stuff, and it was really nice just to get a direct response and him being so upfront like that as
It's
well.
good that they're very vocal and like present in the Discord, answering questions, like telling people how it is, how it's gonna be. Because a lot of games, like we were saying, they do early access, but it's kind of like that's kind of already the game. But this is gonna be true early access and stuff. There's gonna be features missing. Like I said, there's gonna be the feature upvote system where we can say, "Oh, this thing needs to be improved because it sucks right now," or whatever, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
no, just gotta give hats off because you don't see it in a lot of games, to be
Like
honest.
especially even in the
Like,
Warframe Discord,
Yeah.
there is no DE employees or the community managers even talking in chat all that often, if ever.
Yeah,
Like they're busy, of course, doing stuff, but like Snarfs is doing stuff. I mean, shout out to him though. To be honest, that guy's been working. He said one morning he got up
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. to start working. Right?
That's
Like,
nuts.
but he's
Gosh.
got a lot on his plate. So shout out to them, to be honest, for putting in the hours.
for sure, for
And
sure.
he's even in the Discord on like
Yeah.
after hours, after he's not done working anymore. Same with Solid. They're both on talking to people in the Discord when they're not getting paid to do it, right? So, like, big
Yeah,
shout out to
they're
them.
really great people, and I'm happy that we have them as
Yeah.
community managers.
For sure. And like I remember I jumped in Snarf's stream once and he asked me what pack I was going for, and I'm starting out with the base pack. I didn't play the beta, so I just want, to experience it, and I'm most likely gonna end up going very far into it, pains for the stuff and everything. But I loved what he said. He was basically like, yeah, that's a great, I always recommend people to do that. Like, see if it's something that you really want to, put money into, and I think they really want people to enjoy the game. They don't want anyone to feel dissatisfied with their purchase. And like we've said before, it's early access. We shouldn't expect a full game. But I'm really glad we have some community managers like these guys.
Maltese, can I just correct
so-
an information? It's actually
Oh, yeah.
later access. It's not early access anymore, right?
Oh.
I-
Why did you
I
have to
gotta
do
get
that
a
to me,
few in. I
man?
mean, I gotta find a way to feel better.
Like the only thing I can really say is like if it's not coming out until then, we're just that one more step closer to raids, right?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, when he goes to bed, he just
Potentially.
imagines raids, like, and then he wakes up, then he goes to work. That's his RL raid.
Yeah, right.
I just
He's like, I gotta take down this boss.
I just
man."
love the feeling of raiding. Like, there's nothing better than getting on with a group of people sitting there for like up to 4 hours and just banging away and having a laugh.
Yeah, like
you
when
know?
I used to play
I mean,
Destiny,
Yeah.
the raids were
It's fun.
good fun. Like even if we failed like 20 times in a row, right? It was still a good experience. You're getting on with the guys, you're playing, you're doing the raid,
Yeah.
and it's like you're doing something that not a lot of people like finish, right? So in the end, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we did it. We beat the boss. It was great.
Yeah.
We had a good time. Now we can rest and wait for the next one, I guess.
And I think that all comes down to like community, and
Oh, for
shout out for
sure, yeah.
Retribution. Like, I'm really excited to play with you all. Like, if you feel like you won't have fun playing with the group, if you're struggling through a raid, trying to really progress, then you know I would say try to think through what kind of community you want to be a part of, and I think you all are awesome, and that there's so many different groups from casual to hardcore, and
We have so many
if
players
you
in
guys
here.
want
I'm
to
happy
join.
that we've. Go ahead, Inferno.
Oh yeah, like I was gonna say, like big shout out to like especially you, Landon, Tom, the leaders of Retribution. Like this place
Oh
is
yeah,
sick. Let's just put it out there, right? Like everyone's super chill. There's a lot of groups
yeah,
forming,
for
a lot of
sure.
people getting hyped and ready for the game, continuing that hype train, right? So like, yeah, it's a good time in here.
I was actually I tell you what
For
actually
sure.
shocked me. I think it was Julie, one of our newcomers, was on about like Retribution merch and stuff like that. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
maybe one day, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
one
that'd
day.
be
We got
cool,
to put the work
honestly.
in first to get there.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, we had an officer that I will not name, but they know who they are, that came up with an idea for how we could use that merch. And it's not unrealistic because it's not that expensive, and we are planning a bunch of rewards for members that will have monetary value. So it's literally just a different approach, right? Which is going to be realistic. All I got to say, though, is if we do plan on giving merch as a reward, it will be part of group rewards. Right, Tom?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying
yeah.
more, though. So that's a big incentive in being in a group, right? Among
Yeah,
other
'cause
things.
I feel like the group rewards is probably the best place to have it. Like, let's say you're in let's say we're having like a in-house raid tournament or something, and win a team. All the team can get like shirts with red tags and everything with their name
And then their
slapped on the
group
back and stuff.
tags. They'd have red and then their group also
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah, something like that, just to incentivize. I mean, yeah, it'd definitely be a decent reward for a while, and then as we get more and more teams into it,
It'll be fun. And then we could do like a yearly cup, just like add a lot of fun stuff for
Yeah, you guys are
everyone
planning
here,
all kinds of events, and it's good to be here. So I'd like to thank Landon
I
for
have a
inviting me in here,
calendar
man.
on my wall. Yeah,
that
man, I'm
actually
happy you joined us, Inferno.
that actually brings me to one question though, because like we've heard like off me and Landon what it's like to be in Ret, and obviously we're biased as GMs. But you Inferno, right? You're already a YouTuber and stuff. You have a decent member base. What's it like to be in Retribution from your point of view? And you don't have to suck up or anything. Like, give a total honest view.
Well, I mean, if we're putting it that way, like it's Retribution's a good place to be in, like especially since Retribution is pushing to like grow their content creators and stuff. So it's a really good community in that sense, where it's like they have channels for us to post our content in, and not just for me, for Maltese and a couple other people in the Discord here who are starting to make content and are brand new to the game, right? Like myself, I just started making videos like what 2 months ago now, and I've already had pretty good growth, and most of that is
Yeah.
thanks to Retribution. So like, if you're a content creator or even just a regular guy looking forward to Wayfinder, like Retribution is a good place to be. There's people on like 24 hours a day in the chat basically, because we have EU
Oh,
and
yeah.
NA members. Like, there's always someone chatting. There's always
Yeah.
people posting
Yeah.
memes and stuff. Like, it's just a good community.
We have 10 members minimum online all the time. That's a lot minimum. 10 people always on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, considering the game's not out, like considering
Yeah, for sure.
the game's not even out. We haven't even done the bulk of our recruiting. This is all just like word of mouth and people taking a chance on us.
Exactly.
I think we're going pretty well on this. Yeah.
And Maltese, I think the same question for you, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I've been going at it more casual for now, just with time and restraints and everything, and I haven't made too many videos. But I will say, just simply as a member, I mean, I was with Landon's group before we merged, and I've been just happy with the merge ever since. And it's really awesome seeing everyone kind of interact with each other, and we have like different groups. And I'm able to, I created the knights, and I've just had a lot of fun creating like a group within this guild, and kind of creating a whole theme around it, and part still being inside of Retribution, and I I think it's a really fun guild, and it's really cool to see again, like people interacting with each other. And I've even played with some of you guys, like on Overwatch too, with before the game's even released, we're playing together,
Yeah.
and we're
And
already
if you mind if I
trying
jump in
to,
here, like Malty
you
said,
know.
like we originally were two different like Discord clans or whatever, and I was actually originally against the merging because I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be a
Oh
huge
yeah, that's true.
community where like you just get lost in the sauce, you know. But like,
Inferno was
Yeah.
one of the two peoples who were against
yeah, I was
Tom, and
against the merge, but then because I didn't want to be like, oh, we're taking our small community, we're gonna be joining a really big community, and it's gonna be like not feeling like a real place where you can hang out and play with people. But that's not the case. Like we said, there's people online all the time. There's always people playing different games. You can hop in a voice call, not
For
just
sure.
Wayfinder, and it's just great.
I gotta give
For
credit
sure.
to all the team for that, like the officers, the other leaders. They're the ones doing a lot of the work to keep things flowing. Especially Landon here as well. Landon's done a lot of Discord work. A
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
Discord work.
oh man, I had
We
to
went
go
from a
rest
boomer
earlier.
Discord to something that's up to date, right?
Dude, yeah,
I go to sleep and I wake up and the Discord's like just revamped and just even
Yeah, you
better
come
than it
back,
was
you say something
before.
like the night
So,
before, and it's just lost in all the conversation going on.
yeah, I'm really happy though. Like we've gotten through so many updates with the Discord, having a lot of members, like opening up.
Yeah,
Like we have a lot of the EU people have started opening up in the last days. Before they were a little quieter, but now we have a really great balance between the two talking with one another.
and like Landon is
Yeah,
working every
I
day to
actually
improve the Discord with the channels, the art, and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a fun little place to be in, and there's as many serious people as there are casual, and we have members that are in their like very early 20s, right? Even 20, for example. I won't name the name. And we actually have members that are in their early 50s. We have literally 30 years of difference between certain members.
Yeah, and especially for Tom for
Yeah,
making I think he made the Retribution logo as well, and the package for the creators to use as well.
there's actually a little story to that.
You mind sharing or no?
It wasn't actually me that made it. I'd actually got when we got pretty big in Guild Wars at one point in time, we actually had a really good team of like designers in there. They designed it like I've wrote down exactly what I wanted, how I wanted it, etc., and they delivered on that. And then the fact they never charged us any money or anything like that, they were willing to give that to the guild as a thank you for like having the community in that game and all the raid teams that we had at one point.
Yeah, that
It
just
was just nice to have that, and then we've brought that forward, and yeah, I'm just really thankful they even gave us all the rights and everything to it as well. Like it's officially belongs to Ret now, and it's always going to be part of the history. There's always going to be a tale to tell, and hopefully there's going to be many more down the years.
yeah, like that's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like it goes to show the community of these
For sure.
games is just like really good people, regardless of age, where they live, etc.
Yeah, we have people in NA, we have EU, we have some Middle Eastern people. I know we have one or two people from Asia actually in here. Like we have people everywhere, man. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's a really nice mix, but there's not too much of a language barrier either, really. That I've noticed, like everyone's kind of on the same.
I haven't seen anyone speak another language in chat. Have you guys?
No, I
We've
haven't.
all stuck with English so far.
I
It's
mean,
nice.
even the people that aren't fluent English, like they kind of get what you're saying. Like they know where you're going with the conversation, and they're not like
Yeah,
full of
sure.
ums and ahs. Like they can speak directly back at you and give you exactly the answers and stuff. So yeah,
That's
it's
it.
really
Yeah,
nice.
it's a great little community and stuff.
And
Sure.
I think with that, I think we can wrap it up because we are coming up to the 2-hour mark now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
gonna be a bit of editing in this one, but at the end of this podcast, we did actually go round to a few different members covering some of the topics in this podcast right at the beginning. So I think we covered the the heroic pay-the-win Kyros scenario, the Wayfinder that they were picking, and the weapons they were looking forward to. So if you want to hear what they have to say, stick around at the end of the podcast. They'll be slapped on. And yeah, I mean, also don't forget to check out MaltKnights streaming channel and Infernoblaze YouTube channel. I mean, guys, do you have anything you want to say to that before we wrap this?
Well, I just like to say, like, thanks for having me on. Like, it was a good time. The 2 hours went by so fast.
For sure. I'm the same here. Like, thanks for having me and being able to air my thoughts, disagree with you guys in some areas.
You know, I actually really enjoyed that you do disagree in some regards, because if it was all yes, 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 it wouldn't be that entertaining. You know, like it's always good to get different opinions on.
For sure.
Yeah, it's good that we have like all different opinions, like Tom said, because otherwise it'd just be boring if we're all like, yeah, he's paid to win, or no, he's not.
Yeah, for sure.
That's precisely why I wanted you on this one, Maltese. I thought this would be like the moment because like people don't know, Maltese actually done pre-recording that you would have heard at the end of this podcast originally.
Yeah.
But the moment when I heard him say he had a different opinion, because I actually thought a lot of people were going to say no, he wasn't paid to win. I thought that was going to be like the general trend, because there were a lot of people in the Wayfinder Discord defending it. So I thought, he'd just join on that bandwagon. The moment I heard him say he was like, it was pay to win, I thought I've got to get this guy on. Like,
well, glad to be here.
yeah, I mean the pleasure's all ours, guys. Like, it wouldn't be much of a show without you two, right? Coming on for this episode, and hopefully more episodes down the line. Like, whenever you're free, give us a bell, and we'll help you on.
We'll be back.
Yeah,
for sure.
You can also see why me and Landon had a real hard time. Like on the introduction, we tried getting 25 minutes or something we said, and we ended up going into the hour almost.
Yeah, like the
and,
time
yeah.
goes
towards
by
like
just talking
48 minutes.
For sure.
But yeah, so yeah, guys, if you want to stick around for the other members, like, feel free to do so. Thank you again, Maltese, Inferno, Landon, for being here.
Of course.
I'm Terminator T92, and I'll catch you in the next video.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, so I'm joined by Chocolatethunda right now. So my questions to you, Chocolatethunda, and also feel free to introduce yourself if you wanted to. Which Wayfinder are you planning on picking first?
Hey everyone, I'm Chocolatethunda. I have been gaming for quite a long time. Just came over from WoW. The main Wayfinders I'm going to be playing on launch are Wingrave and Infernoblaze.
Any particular reason why you're picking them, or?
I like the utility and support that they kind of both have. I feel they're both going to be assets in a lot of scenarios in the game.
Lovely. Okay, next topic. All right, Kyros, pay to win or not pay to win?
Well, we did touch on this slightly earlier. I don't think it's a pay to win. I think it's more pay for a 5% damage buff. I did some more research on it, and something that hit home with me was going back to World of Warcraft and realizing what difference the racials made at top end, like at end game content, and it's so minuscule that doesn't make a difference at the end of the day. So that's where I sit on it.
Lovely. Okay. If you could pick any weapon, what would be the first weapon you plan on picking and using, and why?
Definitely want the two-handed axe for Wingrave. I feel like that's just going to give him an extra edge that the sword and shield isn't going to give.
Okay, interesting. Okay, and do you have any prediction on team comps?
Like I said, I think Wingrave, Venomous, and Senja especially, I think they're going to be key if you're going to try and push anything of any kind of difficulty in the game.
Lovely. Well, thank you for your time, Chocolate. Take care and have a good day.
Thanks, you too, Tom.
So, which Wayfinder are you planning on picking this?
Hello, my name is Niss, and yeah, the Wayfinder I want to play is Niss, obviously.
Perfect. Was there any reason you wanted to pick Niss over the others?
I really like assassin type of characters in these games.
Lovely. Okay, next question. do you think heroic Kyros is pay to win?
Yeah, I think it is pay to win, but as long as the game is fun, I really don't care.
What is the specific reason you think it's pay to win? Is it the power boost that it gives, or like what's the reasoning for that?
Yeah, I would say it's the power boost.
Lovely. Okay, and which weapon are you planning on picking up first? Like any choice out there?
I guess the daggers. I really like the daggers.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. And the final question. Any prediction on the comps, like what you think the meta might be, what you think teams might be running to successfully get through the hardest content?
I'll just say something like Niss maybe, uh, and then Venomous, and then the third character would just probably be Wingrave.
Okay, lovely. Well, thank you very much for answering that, Niss. Thanks.